the mic, yeah, we bring the flame. Thursday nights, it's a vibe, y'all gon' know the name. C. Wells, Jamie G. Jerome, DJ 2. Facts and flavor mix, that's how the crew do. Catch us live, hit that like, don't be shy. Talking SWAC, y'all, with the jokes that fly. We ain't ducking no smoke, see us holding rank. Discussion, sharp enough to make a ship sink. We got stats, we got smack all rolled in one. SWAC talk like the smoke from a loaded gun. Y'all tune in every week, it's a new vibe. Opinions clash like titans, watch the sparks collide. Here for the teams, for the sports, for the jokes you need. Cut through the noise, watch SWAC Smoke's gonna lead. No fakes, no chill, bring the truth you seek. Every Thursday night, yeah, we running the streak. Catch us live, hit that like, don't be shy. Talking SWAC, y'all, with the jokes that fly. We ain't ducking no smoke, see us holding rank. Discussion, sharp enough to make a ship sink. From the court to the field, we dissect the play. Breaking down the wins and losses of the day. A different crew, but the unity's tight. Facts mixed with the laughs, got you feeling alright.
Man, we have to put a fence around Houston. We're too close. And we understand that we have a SWAC opponent and a rival in the middle of the city. But in spite of that, man, whatever we want in the city of Houston, we got to be able to control and get. And that's our goal, whether it's on the front end, get coming out of high school, or whether they go somewhere else and want to come back. Man, we're at Prairie View A&M University. Man, what are we talking about? This stadium, these facilities, the people on our campus, the time, the history and tradition since 1876. Man, why wouldn't you come to Prairie View A&M? And so for me, we got to make sure that our brand is out there, especially amongst the players in Houston, but really amongst the players in Dallas, Central Texas, and the whole state, and then this whole region. We got to take care of home, though. It would be, if we didn't take care of home, it would be like going in your backyard at home and not knowing what's going on. Somebody out there playing in your backyard, you ain't even know. No, we got to know what's going on in our backyard, and we got to be able to control and get who we want. And that's just being frank and clear. And again, man, I say some stuff where somebody gonna use it as bulletin board material. We're locking down Houston. Period. And so let me just give you a video clip. We're locking down Houston, and we're coming for Dallas, and we're coming for Central Texas. And I'm from Acres Home, Texas. So if you played in Acres Home, we coming to talk to you. But you got to be a good player. You got to be a player that can actually play here. Every kid can't play here. Every kid can't play for us. And so in spite of people thinking that somebody can play here, we got to be able to evaluate who can actually help the Panthers win a national championship. And then we'll go from there. But everyone that can help us get to Atlanta by way of the SWAC West, by way of the SWAC championship, and we got to have them on our roster, whether it's on the front end or the back end.
Wrong word. What is up, everybody? What is going on? How y'all doing? Welcome to episode number 203 of SWAC Talk. And now, as y'all can see, man, we had to have somebody bring the energy and the heat to start this thing off, because I didn't even know this till yesterday, but we are 60 days away from the start of football, man. I don't even know what I'm gonna do with myself now. I didn't even know that. So now that I know that, man, I'm ecstatic. So we had to kick it off with that, you know what I'm saying, to give y'all an idea of what the energy is like, man. And you know, Coach Jackson say he locking down Texas now. I know a lot of my TSU people out there, y'all probably got some feelings about that. Y'all gonna have to work that out on Labor Day Classic, but he bringing the energy, and we're gonna bring the energy. And I got the crew in here. What's up, Big Soldier? What's going on, Jerome, man? How y'all brothers doing today?
Good today, man. I'm doing good, man. I can smell the football myself. I smell it in the air right now. It's right around the corner. I'm gonna take all this nice and impartial SWAC Smoke off in a couple months. Y'all gonna get a
you taking
different
it?
version.
You taking it? You waiting a couple months? Yeah, we take it off now.
Nah,
We can take it off
nah,
now.
nah. Nah, I gotta see what I got, see what I'm working with first. See how big my stick is, and then I
See,
act
I,
accordingly.
I'm gonna put it like this. See what people think. When people think your stick ain't big anyway, you can do what you want. Everybody already
Pause.
disrespect.
Pause.
Pause. Hella pause.
Yeah.
Hella pause.
I don't know
When
where you finna go with that one.
hey, hey, you can put it either way you want. But when people think your team ain't got what you know your team got, then you got to carry yourself accordingly, man. Because I know a lot of people disrespecting some teams out here that got more talent than what they think they got. But I'm gonna let people keep on thinking what they think, and then on that Saturday night when they be like, "God damn, how they find another way to win that game?" I'm just gonna laugh, all right? So we got the I got my energy now, man. So you know what I'm saying, but we're gonna make it happen, man. So like I said, we thank y'all first off for tuning in. And it's gonna be a good show, man. Cause I don't know where this burst of energy I got came from. I ain't had this before I hit start. So y'all gonna have to roll with me on this one, cause I think I'm coming. I think I'm coming with it. But let's go ahead and jump this thing off, man. Topic one: SWAC Media Day. Um, SWAC announced, well, the teams announced the participants for Media Day. If y'all want, I can run through those. Um, and then we can talk about it, and then um, go step by step by how y'all want to do it.
I got a list. I wrote some of them down. Well, I ain't write their whole name, but we can go through them. We can go
All
through
right,
it
cause I
and
got.
see what it
I,
means to you about team by team. You know.
all right, well, I go team by team because I got it in front of me. But first off, only and this don't really matter to me, but I know it's a huge speaking point to a lot of people. Only three quarterbacks are going out of 12 teams. Now, some people look at that as there's not a lot of quarterbacks that coaches are high on, but it could be that they more high on other guys who maybe got better personalities. You know what I mean? You do have to present somebody who can carry themselves. If you got a
Right.
guy if you got a quarterback that's quiet and he speak with his head down, you don't really want him there. You want your other guys there. Now, some teams don't have a quarterback that they know of a number one guy. So it's a bunch of different things. But how do y'all feel about only three quarterbacks going to media day?
Go ahead, Jamie.
You know how it is. To be honest, all this shuffling in the transfer portal and all this, man, we don't really know who may be the starters. All this shuffling. I mean, it's so much. It's all hard to find so much media and rosters for these updated rosters for these schools. I mean, you just never know. I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, I think that you don't have to send your quarterback to be the leader on the team. I mean, that's common thing that we hear all the time that the quarterback is the leader, but with the Dallas Cowboys, it was Michael Irvin. I
Mm-hmm.
want to say with the Bucks, it was Warren Sapp and Derrick Brooks more so. So it don't have to be an offensive player or a quarterback to lead your team. Sometimes people have big personalities like you say, C. Wells, and you
Mm-hmm.
need them out in front speaking and talking for you representing your team. It ain't all about what's going on the field. It's leadership more than anything, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree with both of y'all. Like I said, I'm all for sending guys who gonna put on the best performance or represent themselves in a good way. So, like I said, maybe a quarterback is a guy who not really that outgoing. You know what I mean? That's always a thing. I know a few guys that play their position that they not the most outspoken guys, and they're probably not that comfortable there. You got a senior or something at another position, or a guy you think gonna be a face of your team. Won't you send him? So, I got no problem with either way. It's up to the team who they want to send, but we'll go team by team. We'll start with Alabama and them. They did send a quarterback, but I don't even think this guy's gonna start if things go the way that it's going. But they sending Cornelius Brown. Quad Brown, quarterback, and Demetrius Biombi, linebacker. So those are two guys who played a lot last season. But their quarterback position is kind of up in the air too since they got Mekhi Higgins. So that's
You
not
can't send
necessarily.
him. He just got there.
Yeah, exactly. He just got there, so you just sending a guy. Quad Brown only been on the team 1 year, so you're not even sending a guy who been there a long time. He was a transfer last year, so you just sending a guy. Maybe he more ahead, or maybe you feel more comfortable with him. But those are the Alabama and them guys. Alabama State, Keen Lewis, a safety, and Cameron Smith, offensive line. Um, it's interesting to see them sending an offensive line guy, but yeah, you got one quarterback coming off injury, and you got another quarterback that was super young. So that's kind of up in the air there. But defensively, I'm interested to see what the temperature is on that team defensively. With a lot of the changes that they had.
They're a defensive led team for the most part anyway. As far as these last few years, they've been pretty much led by the defense, either by necessity or that's just the way the team been built.
I'm
Yeah,
surprised
So
Body wouldn't have chosen to be the representative for
Adi
that
ain't
league
got but
though.
about 3 snaps. He can't
he
do
had
it.
a whole game of snaps. Now, don't
But
he he had a whole game of snaps. He just ain't had none after that game. But I mean, like I said, I get their situation. Like I said, you got a guy that was, that probably would have been here if he played all season, and then you got
right,
a guy who, by all rights, should not have been playing. And I don't mean that by his talent level. I mean that because he was so, he was so down on the depth chart. He was a wide receiver before
the
everything happened.
receiver. Right.
And so, this kid, he did a great job for, being thrust in the fire, but you weren't really expecting that. And offensive line is a nice strength of the team. So, you know, nothing
But
wrong with that,
them offensive
all
linemen usually the smart dudes. Them
oh
usually the
yeah.
smart dudes on the team.
And they're gonna give you, what I'm saying, they're gonna give you a good interview. They
Yeah.
they they know the pulse of the team. They're gonna give you an interview. Um
Yeah.
Moving on to the Braves of Alcorn, Jacorian Sewell, running back,
Mm-hmm.
probably the best back in the league right now. A lot of
Right.
people probably really know a lot about him, which is funny playing at Alcorn. You don't know a lot about a back, but he is almost 1,000 yard back. He might get that this year. And then Gideon Spotsville, a guy I'm high on the Alcorn defensive line, a Baton Rouge guy. So you already know if somebody from Baton Rouge,
You
I'm going hype. I'm going hype. Southern Lab kid. So um, looking to take a big step this season. He was one of my impact guys, one of my breakout guys. So I'm glad to see him go on the media day. He could be the next great Alcorn defensive line, pick a
Mm.
defensive lineman. So, no pressure, but I think that's a good choice of guys though. All right. Next up we got Bethune-Cookman. They sent in defensive lineman AJ Hall and Malik Huggins, wide receiver. One of I think Malik Huggins is one of the wide receivers. A lot of people again don't really know, but the
Mm.
kid is electric.
Oh,
He is a good punt
straight
returner.
dog.
He's
yeah,
a
he
solid wide
fast.
receiver.
Yeah.
So I think they have a good passing connection. I'm surprised that I guess he's still there because dudes leave Bethune Cookman like I'm breathing. But I'm surprised Cam Ransom ain't go. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's like the number 2 quarterback in the league right now. If
Right.
he's still out, because like I said, I always speak about people from Bethune Cookman, then I look up and they're gone. So if he's still out, I think he's the number
Right.
2 quarterback in the league. But you know, I would have loved to see him there. But Malik Huggins is a very solid choice. I think he can be an all conference dude in the preseason for sure. All right. After that, all right, I'm gonna let Jerome talk about these two guys. We got some rattlers here. Ashton Grable, who's a veteran offensive lineman, and Davion Westmoreland, defensive end.
Grable holdover from the Willie Simmons era. I think he going there to kind of be the glue, the foundation, the reach back into the past to bring the pads on up into the future with the connection with the new players on the team. So he's a natural leader. He was all SWAC last year. I want to say for the last 2 years. And then Westmoreland, he's defensive end, and he got to lead the defense. He the veteran presence with the departure of Ash. He is the veteran presence on that defense, even though he just got that last year. So he's got to be the anchor. I would think that's why he's there on that side of the ball for the defense. And then if I'm the coach and I'm look at like I am, like Cozy, I'm gonna try and bring two of the biggest dudes I got on my team with me. That's gonna be I'm gonna try and pass the eye test first of all.
You want pass to get off the bus test?
Yeah. Big giant tall dudes.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Hey, don't nobody gotta know the rest of your team is 5'9", 200 pounds, You put the big dudes out in front,
Yes, sir. I'm gonna bring the 300-pounder, 6'4" and up cats with me.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. All right, next up we got Grambling. They sent in Nick Howard, wide receiver, and Blake Davis, the defensive back. Grambling lost a lot of dudes, so I'm not really surprised. They lost their best wide receiver from last season. Javon Robinson. They lost. They two top running backs from last year. They lost the quarterback. They lost. Andrew Jones, one of the best defensive players in the league. So I'm not surprised that they kind of getting guys who are solid guys. Nick Howard had a up and down season, but I don't really know, if you're going to go off of, production on then there's not a lot of guys left. So you kind of go with, what's there. But, the guy, a lot of guys, one of the guys, a lot of people interested, he just got there. And, it's kind of tough to send a guy that just got there. So, I think that's a solid group of guys. Their defense was solid in terms of interceptions and turnovers. So a defensive back definitely don't hurt. I'm gonna slide this one over to Big Soldier, of course, JSU, Jacoby and Morgan, quarterback, and Jeremiah Williams, a guy who did not get the recognition that he deserved last season. Man, the dude's a beast. Right. He did not get the recognition he deserved last season. Right. What you think about those selections?
Oh, that perfect selections in my opinion. Jacoby being the leader of the JSU quarterback room and possibly the team, and bringing in Jeremiah Williams, definitely pro prospect and captain of the defensive group. I think it's a solid choice. And both are very well spoken, well mannered guys. So I see why they chose those two, and I hope Jeremiah don't get slated this time. He might flip a couple tables.
You can't disrespect that man in person, huh? Right. if he gonna be there, if he gonna be there, he got to get the recognition. And I love Jeremiah Williams, man, but I'm sorry, man. He number 2 defensive player of the year. I'm sorry, man. I'm very biased to my guy, man. But if Gibbons wasn't out, then Jeremiah Williams should have easily been in that list. But he definitely gonna be a beast, and I don't want that dude to be mad this season. So if that's what it takes to make him happy, y'all name him player of the year so he don't kill our quarterback. So if that's what it takes, let's go ahead and name everybody. They give everybody some awards, so they take it easy on our guys, bro. But seriously, I think he's a dog, man. He's definitely a dog.
He passed the eye test.
Oh, he definitely passed the eye test on the field and off, man. He's a dog, man. And it's a shame that they did that dude that way, bro. I couldn't believe it. Like you don't not recognize a guy like that. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, they get it right this season, because the dude deserves all the recognition that he get. This is Valley, and I don't know how many of y'all seen my show the other day where I was kind of talking about Valley, but the reason why we're talking about Valley was because of this kid, the first kid on this list, man, the Fabian Fant. I thought the dude was gone, bro. I had looked everywhere, man, and the kid, I don't know. Again, this is a guy I don't know. A lot of people seen him play because he played at Valley. The dude's electric, man. He's a little shifty dude, man. He got great speed. He can take it to the house. The offense ain't really hitting on much, but he the kind of guy that can carry the ball 5 times and get you 80 yards. You know what I'm saying? And have like one long run in that. Really electric kid. I'm glad he's still back, but I did not know, and I did a lot of digging, and I hate doing all that digging to find stuff like that. But I'm interested to see what he got to say, especially with a new coaching staff. And that's another reason why I was upset about that. But and Kobe Bird, defensive back from Valley, so it's gonna be interesting to see what those guys bring to the table. Next group is a group that I think most people will be interested in, the coaches and the players, and that's Prairie View. They bring in Trayvon Jones, tight end, and Jamal Marshall, defensive lineman, who is a really solid D lineman. Had a decent career at PV. So I think most people will be interested in what the coach got to say, and we're gonna talk about that in a minute as we make our way through the list. Next up is Southern. Darren Morris, wide receiver, and Kelby Givens, defensive end. One is not a surprise. The other one kind of is, but I don't know, man. To me, Darren Morris is a kind of wild card cat, man. You know, he one of them kind of, I won't say odd, but he a Baton Rouge dude. So you know, you kind of get what you get from people from Baton Rouge. But I think he is gonna be probably the top receiver on the team. So with no established QB or no real personable old lineman, and who knows, we got in the running back room. I guess he's been I think this is his third year, so he's been around. He ready to take that next step. So I think he good there, and of course Givens that goes without saying. So I would have been surprised if he was not on that. So you definitely want to get a guy like that out in front, and he do a lot of speaking anyway. So I think he definitely will carry himself well. Next up is Texas Southern. We got KJ Cooper at quarterback and DeMarcus Thompson at defensive lineman. I guess this means KJ Cooper is going to be the QB at TSU. I know they brought in a couple guys, but like you say, Big Soldier, we don't know. We don't know what can be
till August.
between now and the kickoff of the first game. Man, we don't know what the heck can be. Anything can change. But I got high hopes for Coach Cooper, man. You know what I'm saying? I think KJ Cooper gonna be a solid quarterback. Got hurt last year, so I think he got an opportunity to kind of prove himself and go from there.
I still got TSU winning, beating Prairie View.
That first game.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be the upset of the year.
Well, I ain't gonna say that yet. That's one of my coaches that I'm looking forward to seeing at media day, and that's Chris Dishman. He don't really say much. He can't. He's kind of seemed like he just go about his business, and we don't really hear a lot. I don't ever really hear a lot coming from Texas Southern football wise, but he surprised us last year with that first game and the way they played the season, all last season. So I'm kind of curious just to see his approach to this. This is second media day, and just to see his whole attitude, because he be quiet.
I will say after their spring game, he was singing about going to Atlanta. So and I know my boy Lionel be out there singing for PV. So we gonna have us a concert, man, between TSU and PV.
He was singing too.
He was singing. He did an interview with Sports Illustrated. He was singing about going to Atlanta, and of course, like I said, y'all know Lionel got his Atlanta song.
What
both of them gonna be disappointed, but it's gonna be set on week one.
Yeah, they gonna settle that. We'll put an end to that early.
So somebody feeling gonna be hurt week one, and I'm gonna be sitting back and enjoying it. But last up is Pine Bluff. And no offense to my boy Law, but any of my other Pine Bluff people out there, but man, y'all could have drew names out of hat and picked anybody, but they sent in Jeremiah Rogers, who's the offensive line, and they sent in a kicker, Trey Glyph. I know a lot of people is shitting on that. Trey is a great kid, man. Trey is my guy, man. And I think Trey might be the only white boy out, so you need the recognition. But he was a really good kicker last year, man. I've had big expectations for him since he came to Pine Bluff, and he finally getting that PT. So, he been at Pine Bluff a long time. So, if anybody know what's going on now, it's a guy that's been around the program a long time. So I mean, the kid Twitter handle is kick up a Heisman. So you can't not send that guy. You know what I'm saying? You
They
can't
put
not
in
send
work.
that guy. But
Yeah.
they don't have nobody. They don't have nobody else to send. I mean, if you want to be honest, I mean, the
Everybody
only other
trying to
guy
figure
who
it out.
yeah, and the only other guys who played been kind of hurt. You know what I'm saying? So but I applaud it, man. Hey, Coach Hampton was a special teams guy, so maybe he maybe he see the vision. But
Right.
this could be his last media day too. So
Yeah,
maybe
this probably his last. It is gonna be his last media day. It ain't gonna be
Don't
back.
y'all don't start that.
I'm
he
sorry.
going out with a bang. You know what I'm
He
saying?
going out with a
But
bang.
so those are the participants for media day. And just to keep it on the media day topic for a couple more questions. Um, what are y'all looking for? What are y'all looking for in media day from your team? The presentation as a whole. Y'all got any expectations for anything media day related?
I want to see. Like I say, I want to see Dishman. I want to see him, and I want to see Buckley. I want to see how he handled his first media day in the SWAC space, and see if he gonna come out talking trash. And definitely, I got to see Coach Jackson. You know, he so far he been putting a stamp on everything he said. He said he was gonna do all that recruiting and lock down Texas, so on and so forth. And as of right now, they got the #1 recruiting class. So
That don't
I don't
count.
expect him to shut up no time soon until they lose. You know what I mean?
I don't respect. I don't respect their rating. 247 don't update they recruits.
You don't respect the
But yeah,
rating.
I don't respect. I don't respect their rating. I just don't.
Well,
They don't
yeah,
update. They don't update. They don't update they stuff, man. I feel like, fam, you got a better class than Prairie View.
no, 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 no,
y'all, y'all,
no. Don't put us in
hey,
there. We ain't got
don't be,
nobody.
don't be stealing my routine. Don't be stealing my routine, Jerome. Only I can do that. Only I can pull mouse now.
Hey,
Don't be stealing.
Yeah,
we got
yeah. We
7
Everybody,
probably
quarterbacks.
had the
And
worst class.
er-
We had the worst class.
but everybody can't
That
not
wasn't
have
we don't
talent,
have no
man.
talent.
Everybody can't not be talented. We the only ones, man. We win every game by the skin of our teeth. Come on, man. We cheat. Y'all remember that? We got rabbit foots. But
no,
but
we gotta see him on the field. We gotta see
yeah,
him
you
on the
gotta see it
field
all in
too.
action, man.
But
I don't have no
I
problem with
agree with
rankings like
Crook.
that.
Hey, Crook telling the truth. He said Coach Jack didn't lock down Texas.
Yeah,
he said
hey,
He
like
when
I
claimed
say,
Steve Sarkisian locking down Texas.
well, he locking on the small version of Texas, not the
yeah,
not the money Texas.
Oh, I'm gonna say, okay, that's that.
but
He
he
like
ain't talking
he
about.
locking down
I
the
mean,
money Texas.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Oh, okay, that little part of Texas.
Nah,
he
nah,
trying to
nah,
do
nah. You know doggone well if Coach Sarkisian came in anybody's house with a bag of money, man, they going to UT. So I mean
Not just a
that's just like
bag of
bet
money, a bag of money and some girls. You bring him a
he
shit,
few
talk.
mate.
girls with him, it's over
Hey,
with.
some of the boys might not even need the money. You know what I'm saying? It's just bring a couple of guns around. But I mean, it's the same. I mean, it's the same thing in Louisiana. I mean, unless you walk in the room, you can hang it up. Like ain't no kid got that kind of willpower, man. But
Y'all
um,
know how it is in Florida. We got all 3 of them coming at us.
exactly. And one of them ain't got no shame in their game when it comes to spending that money that ain't really theirs. But I'm not even gonna go there. I'm gonna leave them. I'm gonna leave them boys alone because they desperate for W's that they ain't had in God knows how long. But anyway, um, we kind of then went between question 1 and 2. Are y'all gonna watch Media Day live or what's y'all approach to that? Me personally, I always listen to it as it's going on. So I guess
Yeah, me too.
technically that's watching, but I'm more listening. But I try to keep up with it as it's going on.
Yeah, I'll be working, so I'll have it on. I'll be listening to it, and then I'll come back and watch it, try and catch up once I get home, just to see I'm looking for the mariachi outfits that Grambling had on that year.
Nah, not the mariachi, man.
Now,
I know one.
I do got one question for y'all. Do y'all do the ESPN broadcast, or do y'all do the SWAC Digital Network broadcast? Because I'm
I
more of
do
a
the
SWAC
digital
Digital Network
network.
I'm
dude.
more of a SWAC digital network type of guy because I really don't like listening to Jay Walker. You know,
He
give
on
me
that anyway though, ain't he? He always doing the interviews anyway.
yeah, but I respect Tiffany. Shout out to Tiffany. I love Tiffany, but I could do without Jay Walker, bro. I'd rather let a Santor back in Tyler versus than Jay Walker.
Well, let's
Tyler.
say something. 'Cause I know how you feel about Tyler, so that's saying a lot.
I'd rather he listen to James Hill before I listen to Jay Walker.
James
How you
Hill.
doing, Coach? Hope everybody's doing well.
I hope
I can't wait
everyone's
for
doing
the I
well.
can't wait for the coaches. I can't wait for the coaches teleconferences again, man. That's gonna be good. But so yeah, I guess we all kind of in the same boat there. And finally, under media day, do y'all? And this, I guess, it go without saying, but y'all want to trash talk or coach speak?
I want what you natural at. If you ain't good at talking trash, then give me the
Don't
good
talk
old
trash.
standard coach speak.
Exactly. don't
Now
be
don't come
don't
out
be
there
out there.
trying to manufacture, don't try and be Willie Simmons if you ain't Willie Simmons. You know what I'm saying? Just
He
be
done
your
turned
regular
into
self.
shotgun for real down there in Miami, boy. You
I
see
know.
them? You see them commitment photos recently? That boy got a doggone McLaren and Aston Martin in front of them boys now.
Hey, them
That boy,
boys,
them
them boys
babies.
used to park. I think about 3, 4 years ago, they used to park a Lambo in the end zone
Yeah,
where
they parking Lambos. I said, dang, boy.
it's Pit Bull Stadium now, but back in the day they used to park Lambos in the end zone. I'm like, y'all winning 4 games a year, y'all parking Lambos in y'all end zone. But the only
But
thing
yeah,
I'm gonna miss about media, the only thing I'm gonna miss about media day, man, is we ain't gonna have nobody with us. We ain't gonna have nobody on point fashion like my boy Dooley used to be. Ain't nobody gonna be doing fit checks no more. That's the only thing I'm gonna miss. the,
no,
the Gucci for head to toe, man.
we ain't gonna get the ascot.
No
You never
ascot.
know though.
I might have to break it out again for y'all though, man. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
I ain't wore it since that day he
You
got
might be
fired, so I might have to
surprised,
break
man.
it back
Dooley
out.
might be the official designer, man.
Hey, Dooley might
what's
do.
his
Hey,
name?
Dooley
Might
can
wear
get.
an ascot. What's Bethune coach name?
Oh, Coach Woody.
Woody.
Yeah, he look like an ascot kind of guy.
He might be. He like he got a little bit of that in him. He might pull that out. But we 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 gonna transition. We gonna transition over to our next segment, y'all. So let's take a quick pause for the calls. We are back to segment 2 of the show, man.
Yes, sir.
We are we are now in basically we are now in that range where teams are starting to get ready for summer workouts. You know, camp gonna be starting soon. Some of our teams gonna be starting a little earlier because we got week 0 games. And so, of course, the portal still looming, so that can make some changes. But um, if your team is still signing players, is that good or bad? Let's go ahead and cut to the chase.
I was gonna ask that question too.
I think I think it's good if you need players, but I think the bad part it's just me. I feel like if you signing players, it's somebody leaving. I just it's only so many people we can have. Even what we got a limit of 105, I think now.
Yeah, you can get if you can get there.
Yeah, but I'm
If
just
you
saying.
can't afford
So
it, nah.
yeah, but so I think it's good to bring in the competition now, but just how much can you get done in these little few weeks that we have, a few days, coming in? But you're gonna need some depth, especially on the O line and defensive line and down in them trenches. So I think it can be a good thing. But at some point you gotta say this it and this what we got, and we got to roll with it.
Yeah, I'm on a case by case basis and a position by position basis. I feel like skill guys like receivers and running backs, you got them dudes up until like the middle of camp, man, if you can, because it don't take a lot for them to get acclimated. You know what I'm saying? Especially a running back. I feel like you can bring in running backs all day long. That really ain't gonna affect too much. I'm not that sold on bringing quarterbacks in unless something happens, because I feel like ain't nobody offense that complex, but I don't really feel like you need a guy coming in unless he like an all conference dude somewhere. I don't really feel like a guy coming in that ain't really played that much should have a leg up on guys that's already been there. You know what I'm saying? That makes me a little nervous, but it's a case by case thing. You know what I mean? If a guy got talent and even played some, okay, we'll go with it. But I'm other than that, man. If it's depth, I'm fine with it. I'm not really looking for adding starters unless it's a guy who fall in your lap. But
Right.
we, like you say, we need the depth, especially now with the no limit on scholarships. You need depth. So if you can add people comfortably, if they want to come, I'm not gonna tell them no. You know what I'm saying?
But established teams like JSU, they kind of held it down. They haven't really been. You ain't really seen that much in and out with them going on. But their team was pretty much intact. They kind of just rolling over from what they had last year. They did a good job of retaining the players that they had on their team, and then I think they added a few here and there. But then you look at Prairie View. I haven't really heard about them bringing in any other players recently, but they brought in the most players out of anybody. So I know they still probably open to bringing in somebody looking to fill in their role, fill in a spot on their team. So, like you say, it's good and bad, but
And I also think you can say you can say what your intentions and your beliefs are, but I really think if your team is really in that position to win, you're not trying to add a lot of people to your team. You know what I'm saying? You really going with the guys that you already trust because they already been there, they already built continuity, they already know the system. You ain't gotta play, guess who for like 3 weeks till these dudes figure out who the heck they are. You know, if you want to win championships, it really starts in week 1. You can't win a championship in week 1, but you can find yourself out of one in week 1. You know what I'm saying? So if you can help it, I don't really think you need to add a lot of guys to a team unless you've lost a lot of guys. And if you believe in the guys you got, then you dance with what you brought, and you go from there. I mean, Southern didn't lose a ton of guys. We lost some important dudes, but we didn't lose a lot of guys in the quarter. But we went JUCO heavy, so they went in that realm. So we'll see how it shapes out. Southern not really a heavy portal team, so I really don't get too caught up in it. But they added a couple pieces, especially in the backfield, because
y'all bring it back.
you
Y'all
need
bring
it.
it back. The main part, the offensive line though, and the defensive line, y'all bring it back a good skeleton of a team. You know what I mean? More than just a skeleton. Y'all just got a couple of spots here and there to plug in to kind of push y'all over the top. Y'all Southern was not in a situation where they had to just tear everything down and rebuild it all, in my opinion.
Like I say, if I had to choose in between starting over fresh with a new offensive line like we did last year, or starting over with new backs, I'd rather start over with new backs because I feel like you're not gonna have a Kendrick Grimes in your backfield, at least not right now. But if you can throw 3 or 4 dudes out there and get the production, then you can throw 3 or 4 dudes out there and get the production. You can't piecemeal an offensive line. I don't care how many people you throw out there. At some point, you're gonna need guys to come together and play well together. So a solid offensive line gonna make everything better. Now, of course, if the guys behind them don't produce, then it's gonna show. But I'd rather that than trying to build an offensive line around a bunch of good skill guys.
Right. Yep. Be looking like Barry. You don't want Barry Sanders back there with no offensive line, making him
Yeah, man.
quit.
I want my man. I want my man making 5 moves as soon as he gets the football.
Get to the line of scrimmage, you got the damn.
By the time the quarterback handing the ball, they both getting tackled. I don't want that.
Right.
I saw that in week 1, man. Like I seen Kendrick Grimes touch the ball, and before he even can move, he already on the ground. That's a guy that should not be down early. Like
right.
But once you have to kind of get guys acclimated, and now I take that, and everything else will fall together. I mean, if you can win, you can win 8 games with a 20-point average on offense, then you should be okay if you can make it to 24. So that's all I'm looking for, like 4 or 5 extra points a game, and I think we'll be all right. But I think that's one of those things. And then that also continues with what we're saying is how much can you accomplish in the summer? Can you it's not a lot that you can do other than workouts and things like that. Conditioning is huge. What I mean? That winning in the fourth quarter and being in position to win in the fourth quarter is because of conditioning. So I think that's one of them things I think go a long way. And Coach Graves I always say he's a Pete Richardson disciple, and Pete Richardson was a fourth quarter dude. He ain't. I mean, obviously he want to win games and he don't want to turn the ball over, but he was a guy that all he cared about was playing a good 60 minutes of football. And how you did it, it was how you did it. You just want to be in position in the fourth quarter to win. So that's always going to be there. And any great team, a championship team is going to be a 4-quarter team. If you look at Jackson State last season, what they did, second half, they locked down on people. You know what I'm saying? Like they locked down on you.
Got better in the second half.
Yeah. So you might have been neck with them in the first half. The second half, they locked down on you and they knocked you out. And that's what great teams do. Great teams play they play 4 quarters of football, but they definitely play a good second half of football to knock you out. You let teams hang around.
They play
you
the
can
same
lose
level or higher as you get
they
to the
elevate.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a perfect example. That Bethune-Cookman game. It was 17-17 at halftime. I was like, damn, Bethune about to get with these boys. The second half, Bethune barely moved the football. And I think JSU had a touchdown call back too, but that game could have been way worse than what it was. But Bethune ain't stand a chance in the second half. Same thing with us in the SWAC championship game. It was a 3 or 7 point game to half. We could not keep up. That's winning football, man. And that's what it takes to win. You got to play a fourth quarter for sure. You can't win just playing in the first quarter. You got to play good. Good.
Fam, you took them into the fourth quarter, into the end of the fourth quarter, and then they got the sack, fumble, and that pushed it open for them. So that's another example of what you're talking about right there.
So yeah, I mean, and like one of the other things, and this one is huge nowadays because you have so many guys coming in. You have to, you give a guy a chance to get acclimated to the program. Especially, I think a lot of those guys that come down from FBS, they need that that
Condition.
reprogramming.
Yeah.
They need that I'm gonna put it like this. You ever I don't know how many y'all got kids, nieces and nephews, grandkids, whatever. They go stay with somebody and then they come back home and you gotta get that whatever out of them that they got to do when they're at grandma's house.
Right.
Like grandma let them stay up till like 2 o'clock in the morning and eat what they want and all that, and
Right.
then they got to come home and you got to get them back on track because you can't stay up till no
Right.
2 o'clock in the morning in this house watching
Yeah.
cartoons and eating cereal. You know what I'm saying? We got rules and stuff.
It ain't like
So it's like
that at my mama house. You ain't even stay at no 2 o'clock and no kid in my mama house.
it's locked down when you come back home. But that's what like a lot of them guys. They've been in the FBS and they've been certain places and it's a different level and energy and facilities and all that. It's just different on our level. So some of them guys you need to kind of get their mind right, and see if they're really about what they think they about. So yeah, I think that conditioning in that early workout period, I think that will get guys get their mind right
It
before
give
it's
them
too late.
give them a chance to adjust to the, like you say, the environment of the flow on campus and just the way the student body interacts with each other, the temperature, because depending on what client, where they transfer from, a lot of them came from, these guys come from what, northern schools, out schools is from out west, seem like, and then when they come down to this deep south, and that's Mississippi, southern, Louisiana, Florida, all of them like that deep south. We all know it's different. It's a different kind of heat and humidity and stuff down here than coming from them other places. Plus, it give them a chance to get in there and get some grades, take a couple classes, and see what that's going to be like. Kind of get ahead so they can lighten up the load a little bit during the fall football season. They may not have to take as many hours if they can get ahead and get in and get some in the summertime. So that's always a good thing for them too, and the team
Yeah, no,
bonding. Yeah,
I think that's the big one. Is bonding as a team, but it's also guys, like you said, guys coming from certain different parts of the country, and you might have visited somewhere for a weekend, but staying in Itabena is different than visiting Itabena. Staying in
right,
Baton Rouge is different than staying in than visiting Baton Rouge. It's, you're gonna have that difference of the day-to-day stuff, and sometimes you need that to kind of get yourself right. I don't know, y'all remember the movie The Program? Omar
Mhm.
Epps. He was a freshman hot shot running back, and he went on his official visit and everything. Then he got on the bus at school for school, and he was like, "Where is everybody?" And they're like, "Bro, that's not really what this is. That's just a recruiting visit. There's a real life here. So it's like
Right,
you have to kind of get yourself acclimated to the non, bells and whistles, and really find out if this what this what you want. Um,
right,
the biggest negative is you don't have enough time for a team to come together. Sometimes you bring in a lot of guys. You got to hit the ground running. Guys gotta kind of be able to self motivate. Guys gotta be able to kind of, police themselves, and get
right.
themselves right. And you don't know if somebody's gonna leave. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's the
they get
other
there,
thing.
and they don't, it ain't going that like they ain't getting things handed to them. As soon as they get there, they might be out. Especially now, nothing really to tie guys here. So I think that's the biggest one is that like we say it all the time, and you don't know what your team gonna look like by the time the season starts. What your team look like today might not be what your team look like on August 30th for most people. So
Right.
it's that's a huge negative though.
Yeah, that's true. And it show up when them teams. You can see some of them teams when they don't get a chance to get together and gel and get that camaraderie and all that stick togetherness. I guess that's what you call it. That's when it show up, like you say, in the fourth quarter and late in the season when they kind of just let it go. And you can see when some of them teams just let it go and just games just get away from them. So
And then you have some of the teams like that they don't start playing well until like week 9. You know what I'm saying? Because they have so many new faces and injuries and all of that, and by the time
It
they
took
get
them
it
that long
together,
to jail. Yeah, it took them that
yeah, by
long
the
to
time they
get
get it
to jail.
together, they 2 or 3 games out of the race, so they're trying to scramble and get back in it. So it's a lot of it's a lot of moving pieces in that a lot of people don't take into account. That it's not just this ain't Madden. You know what I'm saying? Where you bring in a bunch of new dudes in because you controlling them, you can you can play with a
You
whole
can
new
make
team
it
every
work.
year. Still win. So
Yeah,
it don't work like that. You still need some kind of continuity and camaraderie. You know, I look at it like this. You can ask any coach out there, and they'll tell you they don't really want to have to bring in all the new guys. Now they will because they have to, but I bet any coach that bring in a gang of transfers probably would not want to if he didn't have to. So
right.
I think a lot of teams are gonna not look like that in future years. So it's like a necessity thing. Nobody want to continuously do that. Although I think the way things is now
It's
is
gonna happen.
different. Yeah, I mean now you can build a team through the portal. Before everybody was like, oh, you can't do it. Now it's almost like you have to, but you still got to have some kind of a foundation because you need a healthy locker room first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
To
A
pass
team with an
on.
unhealthy locker room ain't gonna win.
Yep. Yep.
Now you might win, but the minute something go wrong, that's when everything fall apart because
Right.
guys ain't got each other back.
They don't
Got
have
a bunch
that
of mercenaries.
commitment to each other. They don't have that toughness, to stick together. Soon as, like you say, a little bit of adversity come, whatever it might be, it just all fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and you can see it coming. you can always see it coming. Like the
Yeah.
guys start playing hero ball. Everybody starting to go for self. It just
I was proud of FAMU after last year because it could have all fell apart quick at the end. At the end of that
oh,
season,
oh
it
yeah,
could
and
it could have
I've
went
seen I've seen some
way
I've
left.
seen some teams do that now. I give you a prime example. 2021 Southern, we did that. We fell off
Mm-hmm.
the cliff, and man, they had dudes fighting each other in the locker room and stuff like that. Man, it just got ugly. Like you went from a team who wasn't necessarily predicted to be a championship team, but you was predicted to be in the middle of the race. And by the end of the season, you 4-7 or whatever. And coaches don't know where they gonna end up at. Coaches trying to fight other people. Trying
Right.
to fight sideline people. They're trying to jump my homeboy. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? But that's the kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing you get. Like when you don't have that stick to itness and that camaraderie, man. You get everybody starting to go for themselves, and we start going for self.
That
It's tough if
that's
if
not
you're not
good.
winning. You
Yeah.
can survive going for self if you win it, but the minute you start losing, that's when it all fall apart.
The finger point start.
Yes, and when that when that start, you can hang it on up. You can hang it on up. That season is a wrap.
But if we can hold tailgate, you can hold tailgate, C Wells.
Oh, you want to hold that
Yeah.
one? Sweet.
Huh?
Yeah, I got you. So you got somewhere else you want to go, or you want to just?
No, I mean it's getting to be that time. I'm looking at the timer, but
You said you saying it's
Mm-hmm.
getting late early.
It's
nah, I'm
Man.
getting late.
I'm getting hungry. I ain't eat,
Mm.
but I'm
Yeah.
good. If you want to do it, I can do it. We can do it, but I seem
Oh
like
no,
I want to
we'll
get it.
move that one so we can throw a couple extra things on there.
Yeah, we can get it together better than that.
Because I wanna put together a couple of things. I ain't a tailgate person like the rest of y'all people. You know what I'm saying? But I got my little things I like to do. But I like I always say, man, I'm one of the people that I'm trying to be at a stadium as early as I can. So I get there. Sometimes the people at the gate don't even be there. So
Dang.
You trying to
Shoot,
be
this year
authentic,
I ain't
man.
got no hotel room, so I'm gonna be pulling in when they open the gate. I'm gonna pull in and park tailgate. And when they shut the game down, be pulling out and leaving. They just changed the game start times to 3 o'clock, so that's gonna kind of halfway benefit me with getting back to Tampa. earlier, so we're gonna see. We're gonna see how that works, at least with the first game.
Yeah,
Like I
see,
said, I ain't paying no mortgage for no hotel room. They gonna have to do something about
oh,
that.
yeah, they be taxing the talent, boy.
I'm not
I,
doing it.
but like I said, the first game of the season, I always had issues because you always got new people working there, and they be trying to tell you how to do things. I'm like, bro, I've been sitting in these same seats for 6 years. I know,
Right.
I know how to get in the stadium, man. You trying to have me go in the wrong gate, and I don't know about everybody else's stadium, but people at Southern, they they don't believe in being flexible. You go in this gate here, and your seats ain't there, then you out of luck. They
They
ain't
ain't gonna
trying
let you cross
to
over or nothing.
because at Southern you can't really, you know what I'm saying? Because like if you on the west side stands, and you trying to go to north end zone, you gotta go out and go back in because they didn't
Oh,
connect.
okay.
They didn't connect it. So a lot of time they, especially now with the scanners and stuff, they don't really be caring. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They just want to do they doing they part of the job. They ain't worrying about nothing else. So that last year that dude tried to argue with me. I'm like, bruh, this is the gate. I've been going through this gate for 6 years, man. You trying to see me down there? They ain't gonna
I
let
remember
me come back.
you did a whole show on that. I remember
Yeah,
that.
man. I was heated, man. I was heated. Then my mama, then my daddy got mad. Me and him started going at it with the dude. My mama and my wife, they walked off. They got mad at us. Like, but that's
No, you did what you had
like,
to do.
hey, like father, like son, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't. Hey,
Hey,
sometimes you gotta step up when old man. You can't, you can't back down in front of old man. You gotta let
hey,
him know he raised you right.
I gotta give a public shout out to you, C Wells, for being the hardest working man in HBCU sports. Uh,
Man,
uh, Putting out the most shows, with the most information. You the James Brown Award winner. The
uh,
SWAC media coverage.
hopefully I'm not no mugshot James Brown now. Man, but
That's
nah,
it.
like I say, it's it's fun for me, man. Like seriously, it's work. Don't get me wrong, man, but it's work because I want it to be. A lot of this stuff you don't have to do all of that extra stuff if you don't want to. But for me, it's a nice little nice little diversion, and it helped me when I get to the season. You know what I'm saying? Knowing the different teams and everything. But as I always say, man, the minute this stuff don't be fun for me, I'm out. I ain't even gonna lie to you. The minute it stop being fun, I'm out. But it's still, I'm still having a good time, and it's honestly, man, a good outlet for me because a lot of things be going on crazy in life. I can come in the lab, slam the door, and be by myself for a little while. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got nothing bothering me. I can do what I want to do. I can say what I want to say, and it's cool. So, but I appreciate everybody. Everybody locking in and following what we do, man, because it's a lot of fun. And being able to come in on Thursday with y'all, man, that's always good too. So, I just sometimes I just get in the groove and don't even realize what's going on. Before I know it, I got like two or three things I didn't record it. So, um, I just try not to. I try to just keep everything in perspective and not have too much show stuff. Like I said, all the time I go crazy is like doing basketball with the tournament because I'm obsessed with it. So I'm gonna cover every. If I could cover every
As much
game
as you
every day,
can.
I would. But that's too time consuming. So I just do it at night, and then I'll be dead tired by the end of the tournament. But it's fun. So I'm
Well,
gonna continue to do what I do, man. I'm gonna continue to work hard.
we're gonna have content coming up soon. We ain't gonna have to be working as hard as we are, because
Oh
the
no.
story's gonna write themselves in
Oh,
a couple of weeks.
like I
And
always say, man, this is the hardest part of doing this stuff. And y'all guys, Blue will tell you this is the hardest part of anything, man. Before you get to the season, it is you trying to figure out things, trying to put together previews. People don't want to update their rosters. People don't want to. People don't want to let you know what's what. But once the season get going, man, that's easy. You got
yeah,
games you got a whole weekend of games. You got recaps. You got previews. You got trash talk. You got on top of going to the game. So it's like that all take care of itself. And that part always easy. Post game shows on Saturday nights. You got last year was fun, man. Doing that, that was the first year we ever
Post
really
game.
did lives on Saturday.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun to be able, man. I got people in the house there in the den watching TV. I can go in here and y'all can have fun watch TV. I'm about to go do a show. I ain't gonna deal with
Yeah,
y'all,
that was
man. I come
fun.
out, y'all.
That was fun. Now I gotta figure that out if I'm gonna be in the car riding back home on the show or what, how that's gonna work. But we're gonna figure that out too. But
Is that game still on?
what's that?
Valley and FAMU in Atlanta. That game still taking place in Atlanta?
That's what
Because as
I
far as I
heard.
know it, as far as I know it is. But I don't.
Yeah.
I want to see the. I want to see the. I want to see the splits, man. I want to see what the money looking like. Because I
It's a
still,
Valley home game.
yeah, it's a Valley home game, but I just don't. I mean, I get it. I get it, and I think I get
Well,
it, and I think it's a
they'll
good
get a
move.
lot
But
more people with FAMU people will be there. Now I don't know if FAMU gonna get a lot of the gate, like you say on the split like that, but if FAMU band or at least make it to Atlanta. Y'all already
yeah, because
know
y'all ain't
that.
going there to Bina. Yeah, they
No.
already had it, y'all for because y'all ain't going no there. No, I don't know nobody named Crook that like JSU, man. I know some crooks personally, so I know I know people last name Crooks, and I know people that's crooks. So,
And he
but
is.
nah, man. Shout out to my boy Crook, man. That's a Baker dude, man. You know what I'm saying, holding it down. But no, I mean, as far as if you ain't gonna have nobody come to the game, you might well get paid for it. So I just want to know. I just want to know the financials because I want to know what the expenses is gonna look like. You know, how they get in the stadium? Somebody putting up for that? You know what I'm saying? Or well, y'all better be careful for the hell y'all playing at that old Morris Brown Stadium. Now, y'all don't be getting too excited yet.
No,
Don't,
they playing
that
in
thing,
the Mercedes in the
that,
Benz.
that's
That's where they
that's what
they
they
playing.
telling y'all today. That's what they
Nah,
telling y'all today.
Arthur Blank gonna make sure we playing the Benz. That's what
Y'all
I'm
pull
gonna
up in that one-sided stadium. Everybody be sitting on the same side.
say. But hey, in Atlanta, you're gonna get both bands will be there. I think it'll be a good crowd. I ain't gonna say, but I'll say less than 30,000 people now. I ain't gonna blow it all out the water. But I say in the 20s, high 20,000 people. That's what I see. I could be
I
wrong.
mean, I think that's a success though. Just a rough math, 20,000 people, man. 20,000 people, like $25 ticket. That's decent money to clear. Especially if you ain't really got to put out a lot of expenses. So I think if you can get 20K, you should. And I mean, FAMU playing in Atlanta go a long ways back.
Yeah.
And y'all kind of not been there. Other than me X Challenge and Celebration Bowl, but yeah,
Yeah,
y'all
we
had a
ain't been there in a
long
while.
run. Y'all had a
Yeah.
long run of consecutive games there. So you know that can always be good. So maybe that can be the start of that again, and Valley just a guinea pig. So I mean,
Never know.
getting 5K people and making a little bit of money, or getting 20K people somewhere else making more money. I mean, that's a win-win. They
How,
already
how
moving
far of a
balance.
ride? How far of a ride is that for Valley? Because it's like 4 hours for Tally. So it ain't a real bad trip for them. I don't know how
Um,
far Valley is.
Let me see. I'm trying to think.
But I would say Valley probably got more fans in Atlanta than they got in Itabena.
I mean, and one thing about Atlanta, everybody got people up there. So you know what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
then, so,
And you got
and
the
if you
band
don't,
bandhead people gonna come out because the Valley band, they like that. So they'll be out there for that right there. And fam, you got their little following, the bandhead people.
and I
So
mean,
they'll
who
sell some
who
tickets.
who don't want to take a trip to Atlanta? You know what I'm saying? It about they say about 6 hours. That's not a bad trip.
Oh, that ain't bad, but that ain't the little short ride, 4 hours. But
6 hours is 6 hours is almost. it's almost a turnaround trip, man. It's just a little bit too far for a turnaround trip. But
Yeah,
6 hours to go to Atlanta is different than 6 hours to go to go to like Baton Rouge or something. So I drive 6 hours to go to Atlanta, man.
right. Yeah. I'm making that drive to Baton Rouge from Tampa to Tallahassee, to Tallahassee to Baton Rouge for that game.
Ooh, man, I done made that drive so many times, man. I do that drive standing on my head now, man.
Shoot,
We
I'm getting in the back seat. I'm gonna let them cats drive.
oh man, that I used to do that drive at least 3 times a year at minimum.
Yeah, I'm getting in we got a van of some sort we supposed to have. I don't care. I don't want to drive. I'm gonna leave my license. That's all I do is drive every day, man. So I
I
ain't
I
doing
get
that.
you, man. When you do all that driving, man, you don't wanna have to drive extra.
Yeah, I want to ride and enjoy. Only good thing we'll take our time and go, but I don't want to have to drive unless I absolutely have to. But yeah,
So like they say,
going to
don't make
the
no plans for Atlanta.
going to
Y'all might want to go into the
going to
Delta
the Delta
instead,
for that
man.
game. No, I ain't going to that game in Atlanta. I ain't going to Atlanta, Israel. I'm trying to make all these 7 games in the state of Florida, so that's gonna kill my little pockets right there. Fam, you got 7 games right here in Florida between the home games, the Orange Blossom Classic and the Florida Classic. Then they play FAU, I think it is, down there too. So that I took all my vacation around them weekends. So that's what I'm gonna try and do. Now, what you can do, Israel, is meet me at the Celebration Bowl, and I'll have a FAMU jersey for you to put on, so you'll blend in with us. That's what you can do.
Oh man, if you gonna go as a neutral party, man, you can't blend in. You got to still go and stand out.
Nah, I want him to wear some orange and green.
Ooh
Put him
man,
in that orange
be
and green.
careful, man. Don't wear that orange and green, man. That stuff that stuff ain't gonna look right on you.
It's gonna
Leave
rub
that to
off on him.
leave
We're
that to
gonna
them other people, man.
we're gonna make him like it once he come down to brag.
Yo, man.
Yeah, feed him them peas and carrots and make him eat them. You know how you have to do the babies. Make them eat it. Stick it in there and put the spoon in the mouth and turn it up and pull it out so it have to stay in the mouth. Yeah.
Give him the airplane.
Yeah.
But man, we got.
Yeah.
I think I think on that note, we're gonna go ahead and let Jerome go ahead and get him a dinner somewhere. It's about time we go ahead and wrap this on up, man,
I'm going
and
to
get
get me
ready
some
for our.
Carrabba's. Carrabba's.
Oh
That's
Lord,
one.
I ain't had Carrabba's in good God.
Me neither,
It's been
but
a long
tonight
time.
is the night.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we gonna get on up out of here, man. We appreciate y'all for tuning in, man, and hanging out with us on another Thursday. And we'll be back in 2 weeks, another episode of SWAC Smoke as we move closer to Media Day. And then we'll start to get back into the groove of things. So with that being said, man, for the crew, we out and y'all have a good weekend.
Peace.